May God's peace and blessings be upon us all. The time has come for the people of God to speak to the people of God. God's holy word is a biblical perspective on the times and the events of today. And as always, we come to you in an effort to educate you, to entertain you, and to evangelize you. We're on a mission to make America righteous, on a mission to make the world righteous. God's holy word is the new and the true media. The new and the true media. But we are only bound to tell you the truth on a daily basis as we come to you. And so, as we have seen all over the internet, as we have seen all over the news, as we have seen all over the world, today we bring to you a situation and a scenario where Zelensky trumps Donald. As we've all seen on the news from today, it appears as though Donald Trump and J.D. Vance invited President Zelensky of Ukraine. They invited him to Washington to apparently have a talk and a conversation about rare earth minerals and about some of the resources in Ukraine. These talks were described to be a way for apparently to come about some form of war, some form of ceasefire from the war between Russia and Ukraine. And what it really was it was a attempt for Zelensky to try to appease Donald Trump and to get him to side with Ukraine and to continue to support Ukraine as far as weapons goes, and to side with Ukraine in fixing and getting this war over and done with. But what did we really see today? Well, what we really saw today was a prime example of what I have coined as a phrase to be distraction politics. Because what really happened today was a theater show for the TV, a theater show for the American people, where Donald Trump and J.D. Vance invited Zelensky to a 2-on-1 robbery attempt. They attempted to rob this man. They attempted to get this man to give them Ukraine's rare earth minerals and their resources without any type of protection. As though they thought that because this man was Ukrainian, he was stupid. And he showed them that he truly was not. And I think that the biggest kicker, as they were arguing back and forth, is that for those of us who have been on the other side of the tracks, who have not always been on the straight and narrow side of the tracks, there was a moment in that conversation, in that altercation, where J.D. Vance was talking, and Zelensky waved his hand and told him, just because you talking loud don't mean that you right. Now see, when I saw Zelensky do that and lay back real calm in the chair, put his hand up and let him know just because you loud don't mean that you right. You see, for those of us who really recognize, we recognize. See, Zelensky, oh, that's a real gangster. The way that he laid back in that chair, he truly let you know what he thought of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Because you have to think about what we have here. We have not only a president, but we have a soldier who is out on the battlefield fighting with his troops. That's what Ukraine has. America has a president who was a draft dodger, a president who had bone spurs and couldn't go to the military, a president whose father paid the doctor to ensure that he would never have to spend one day in the military service or one day in any form of danger or in any type of dangerous situation. Let us just say allegedly. But he is a draft dodger. And then the other party that's arguing against Zelensky is a spineless bootlicker, a spineless yes man who has slithered his way into becoming the VP of the United States of America. These are what we call fake tough guys because anyone who really knows real tough guys can sit back and watch those three guys that were arguing today and realize that only one of those guys in the room is a true tough guy. I'm screaming, Zelensky is the man. But you see, Donald Trump, perhaps you should borrow that tech nerd that Elon has called Big Balls. Perhaps you should borrow him and bring him into your meetings with Zelensky and Putin. Because you see, there was also a moment in there when the reporter asked Donald Trump a question. And he asked Donald Trump a question about a statement that he had made all over the world news earlier this week. The reporter asked Donald Trump, "Do you still say that Zelensky is a dictator?" And you see, now, as people say, you talk a lot of trash in a safe place, but you can't look me eye to eye when you in my face. Zelensky sat there and waited for the answer. And in his own house, in his own country, in his own government, Donald Trump stumbled, bumbled, and said, "Well, did I say that?" And then he said, "I can't believe that I said that." And then he immediately said, "Next question," because he did not have the spine or the nerve to make a statement that he had already previously made. You see, that is the difference between a boy and a man. Because if a man said it once, he's man enough to say it again. And more importantly than that, he is man enough to say it to your face. And so I say to us as the American citizens, hey, America, when our government bullies countries long enough, when our government bullies countries hard enough in an attempt for America to isolate ourselves, we should not be surprised when we find ourselves alone. I'm just saying. To all my listeners, what do you think? And I say to you, please like, share, and subscribe, because if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. This is the new and the true media. This is God's holy word. And I ask you on today, do you think that America is now all alone in the world? Do we have any true friends left? Or are we like the cheese, standing alone? And so now, for our major topic of the day, the thing that is most pressing on our agenda for today is for us to realize as believers that Christians are dying in Africa. Christians are dying in Africa. And the thing about it is that I always attempt to pull and push for the underdog, which is why I also make content where I feel as though, and I discuss the things that are going on in Africa, but I also discuss the things that Africa needs to do to free themselves from truly being under colonist rule. I discuss the things that Africa needs to do to be successful. And I discuss the things that Africa needs to do as far as becoming one nation and joining together. But when things like this happen in Africa, then it kind of throws a kink into my psyche, because I have to turn around and say to myself, I am rooting for this continent, rooting for these people to join as one and to get the things that they truly deserve, for them to live a better way of life. And then we see this news pop up where apparently it is being reported that in mid February, I think around February 13th, that 70 Christians were killed in the DRC, the Republic of the Congo. And so I find that to be a troubling situation, because I say to us as believers that the world will hate us because we choose to follow Jesus Christ. But when it comes down to scenarios where people are being killed and being beheaded, then we have to truly look and see what kind of world that we live in. because it is reported that on February 13th, in the Dominican Republic of the Congo, that they took 70 Christians out of their homes. They tied them up, marched them through the streets. They beat them. They tortured them. And they said that these people were from a community called Maba, which is right outside of the Kivu province. And the militants that kidnapped them are from the ADF, which is a connective group to, as we all know, ISIS, who is a terroristic cell. But they are believed to be connected to ISIS. And so the ADF stands for the Allied Democratic Forces. And so what they did was they took these 70 prisoners and they took them to a Protestant church in Kinshasa and they killed them with machetes and hammers and beheaded these people. And yet I feel as though this is not being reported and this is not getting the type of attention that it truly needs. Perhaps it is because the 70 Christians that were beheaded, they were Africans. I find it hard to believe that if these 70 Christians that were beheaded would have been part of the Roman Catholic Church or would have been part of a missionary mission to the DRC, to Congo, I find it hard to believe that it would have taken so long for this story to be spotlighted or for this story to be mainstream or for people to be concerned and reporting upon this story. But what I say to us as believers is that we must realize that the world will hate us. And we must all also realize, especially, to those of us who find ourselves in bad situations, or for those of us, no matter where you are, in America, around the world, in India, where Christians are being persecuted, if you're in other foreign countries where Islam is the majority religion and Christians are being persecuted, um, I tell you, that you know that the world would hate you because the world hated Jesus Christ. And so I pray for those people and pray for them to continue to march on and to continue to fight the good fight. And let us pray for these 70 Christians, family members, and loved ones who have to live with the reality that their family members were killed for simply following and practicing what they believe in. Please like, share, and subscribe. All super chats, all super stickers, and all sponsorships, all subscriptions, all super chats. They go to furthering the gospel. And as always, I would like to give you another verse for another day on this earth. As we have just gone through the story about Christians being beheaded, and I feel as though that is a major story, because I also feel as though that is a point for us to remember in our daily basis that in our daily walk with Christ, that no matter how bad we feel like things are, that they could truly, definitely be worse. And that no matter how bad things are today, I can promise you that they have been worse. They may possibly get worse. But where you are now, you are only there by the grace of God. And so, with us keeping that in mind, let us do another verse for another day on this earth. And as always, I will be using King James Version. Whichever version you use is okay with me as long as it gets the job done. So let us go to John chapter 16. John at chapter 16, well known verse, and we will begin at verse 18. John chapter 16. John chapter 16 at verse 18, and it reads on this wise. They said, therefore, what is this that he saith? A little while, we cannot tell what he saith. Now Jesus knew that they were desirous to ask him, and said unto them, do ye inquire among yourselves of what I said a little while, and ye shall not see me? And again, a little while, and ye shall see me. Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, hath sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. And in that day you shall ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it to you. Hitherto have ye asked nothing in my name. Ask, and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full. Let us remember that our suffering shall only be for an acquired time. May God bless you and keep you.